OpenAI just dropped a brand new lineup of AI models, and they look like a game changer for building AI agents. They're faster, smarter, and more affordable. In this video, we're digging into what it actually means for chat and voice agents, and whether the new models are just hype or a full-on upgrade in every category. If you're new to the channel, I'm Brendan Jowett. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia, and I've been running an AI automation agency, Inflate AI, for nearly 2 years. I've extensively tested all of the top AI models for AI agents. Updates like this don't come around often, and when they do, they're a huge opportunity. So first, I'm going to break down all of the new models and highlight where we should expect performance upgrades. Then I'm going to jump into a prompt engineering IDE to test how each model actually performs. And finally, I'll build some AI voice agents using these models to see how they hold up in real-world scenarios. The new models released by OpenAI include GPT-4.1, 4.1 mini, and 4.1 nano. Here's a graph comparing the new OpenAI models to the previous ones. For conversational AI agents, the three key factors are intelligence, latency, and speed. On this chart, latency is shown along the bottom, and intelligence is on the vertical axis. I'll cover pricing for each model when I demo them later in the video. Now, looking at GPT 4.1, we see it has similar latency to the previous 4.0 model, but with a slight bump in intelligence. So it's a solid upgrade, but nothing groundbreaking. The standout model for me is GPT 4.1 mini. It's approaching 4.0 level intelligence, but with significantly lower latency. That's a huge win for conversational agents, since we're now getting smarter responses much faster. And spoiler, it's also way cheaper than 4.0. Finally, there's 4.1 nano, which is clearly built for speed. It outperforms mini on latency, making it ideal for simpler prompts where speed is the priority over depth. Feel free to join my school community, which is linked in the description. We've got a masterclass for building AI agents, in addition to 40 plus AI agent templates. We're a community of nearly 10,000 AI enthusiasts, always happy to answer your questions and connects with you. So I'm now going to jump into Prometheus. This is the prompt engineering IDE that's going to make it really easy to test the different AI models very quickly using our own prompts. So this right here is Prometheus. This is a tool that we use internally within our agency to build our AI agents. Ultimately, it's just a really smart editing tool for our prompts. So we can configure different AI models. We can run a lot of different tests on our prompts here. And this just allows us to quickly optimize them within different scenarios. So if we want to run a section of our prompt and just run that against the AI model, we can do that using this platform. If we want to obviously break it up into 5 different parts of the prompt, we can run all those different areas. And it just allows us to quickly iterate on our prompts and get a lot of feedback as to what's good and what's bad. So essentially what I've done here is I've gone ahead and uploaded a big prompt here, which is in relation to sort of an AI receptionist for a real estate company. So if I look at the top here, this prompt is, your name is Emily, you're an AI digital receptionist for Blue Real Estate, and your role is to communicate with callers who inquire about our properties. So this is, once again, it's a digital receptionist for a real estate company. This is intended to be used for an AI voice agent, but obviously you can use this for whatever you'd like, and it's just a prompt that defines the personality, gives it a set of instructions to act on, as well as has a little bit of information to pull from in terms of property information. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send some questions. I'm going to test it out on the 4.0 model. I'm going to test the 4.1 model, and we're going to look at the latency. We're going to look at the intelligence and just have an overall look as to whether or not these models are actually any better. And then I'm going to take this exact same prompt and I'm going to put it into an AI voice agent. And then we're also going to look at the 4.0 models and 4.1 models and just see how significant this difference is. So if I just come down to the bottom here on the platform, I've essentially got 2 sections of this prompt. So I've got my system prompt, which I've added in this entire block of code here, and I've got my user prompt. So this is exactly how you'd communicate with any completion system and chat system with the OpenAI models. So we can put in our main prompt and then add in our message, which is just, if you're thinking of a chat agent, your message, a voice agent, the question that you say on the phone. And if I just go ahead and look at the top of the page here, you'll see the AI model. So at the moment, I've currently selected GPT-4.0. So this model is just one of the models that they have. Obviously, there is a whole host of different models that we can use if you want to compare these against some of Grok's models, Gemini's models, XAI's models, DeepSeek, Anthropic, everything is here pretty much. And then obviously you get access to the wide range of GPT models that are available as well. So I'm going to first give our traditional GPT-4.0 a try, and then I'm going to go ahead and look into the 4.1 models as well as the 4.1 mini models. And we're going to get a very good look as to which are performing the best. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the run button and let's see what it does. So I've just gone ahead and done that, and you'll see on the right-hand side of my screen, a message has now popped up. And that has just come from what we just did. And so you can see, hey there, I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for asking. How about you? Anything I can help you with today? Maybe about our properties or setting up an appointment. So that's been generated using 4.0. If you look down here, you'll see that was completed in 0.84 seconds. So pretty quick, definitely not terrible at all. And the message itself is exactly what you would have expected it to do. But obviously that wasn't a very complex inquiry. So we can stress test it a little bit more, maybe picking out some of this information from the knowledge base. So I could also just say, hello, what is the best property you have in New York? Run that. And there we go. So in about 1.93 seconds, we got this big long message that's answered our question. So, hey there, we've got a cool spot in Midtown Manhattan. It's listed for 1.3 million. It's got everything you need. And it's just listed a bunch of information about the property as well. And you're right in the middle of action with public transport. Sounds pretty great. So it's just leading on the conversation. And it did that perfectly. That is correct. That information, none of that's wrong. So that's perfect. So what I can now do is swap over the model to a different model. So 4.0, we know it's pretty trustworthy. It's a pretty good model. And we've been using it quite a while for chat agents and voice agents, and it works really well in every category. The cost is very fair, the intelligence is very good, and the speed is pretty good. Obviously, compared to a mini model, it's not as fast as a mini model, but it's pretty damn close and works pretty great. And obviously, with these new 4.1 mini models and 4.1 model, it is meant to shoot this out the water. So if we go ahead and go to GPT 4.1 and we hit select model, what we can do is run the exact same request and just see what results we get. So I'm going to run the same request. It's now going to start to load. There we go. So hey, this is the best property we've got. It's an awesome spot in Midtown Manhattan. It's going for 1.3 million, and these are some of the details. And then we go to blah, 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 details. So overall, it's pretty much the same. I mean, coming from here, it's done pretty much the same thing. If you want more details, check it out in person, just let me know. Overall, obviously, once again, it's not the most complex question ever to send through. It's being able to do that properly. Now, it was quite significantly delayed compared to the previous answer. So 1.9 seconds, 3 seconds, 3.1 seconds with 4.1. Now, the 4.1 model isn't meant to be any quicker than 4.0. This is the direct, sort of upgrade of this model, but it isn't meant to be any quicker. So obviously, we would want to test if it is significantly slower. You probably wouldn't want to use it. So we could run it again. Obviously, the more times we run it, we're going to get very different results and very different speeds as well. So I just ran it again, and we got 5 seconds. I could just run it a few more times and get sort of an average for this type of request. So once again, did it again. We got 4 seconds. I can run it one more time. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and run it on 4.0 and start to see what kind of speed we can get. So that was probably the quickest so far with 4.1, 2.7 seconds has come out of that. So for the most part, 2.7, 4, 5, 3 seems to be at the sort of 3-second range at the lowest. Obviously 2.7, roughly 3. And obviously with 4.0, we were able to get 1.9. So if I go back to our 4.0 model, we'll essentially run the exact same test once again. So I'll hit execute, see what kind of speed we can get. 2 seconds, that's already quite a bit faster. Run it again. Looks like it's going to be 2.1. Run it again, and we'll see we get 2.29. So OpenAI does say that it's meant to be a very similar latency to 4.1, but I think just from this testing and from other testing that we've done, it is a little bit slower than the 4.0 model. Now, obviously, once again, this isn't the most complex inquiry that we're giving it, so it's not really thinking too hard about it. And so maybe we're just using overkill with 4.1 on this instance. So it's, obviously not going to be getting the most out of it. So if I did a little bit more of a complex question, I could say, hello, can you please compare the New York property to the California property and tell me which is the best value for space. We can send that through, see how 4.0 handles that. So I've just ran that request on both 4.0 and 4.1, and I've gotten quite different results. So pretty much 4.0 on the exact same prompt produced this level of response, and 4.1 produced this level of response. So quite a bit more in depth in terms of the comparison. So I said, please compare the California property to the New York property. This has gone a little bit more in depth here. So the two models, just from this little bit of testing here, I could run it again to get an idea as to the depth that it's running through, but it does look to be running quite a bit more in depth for its responses. So we can see here, once again, we can see how much it's going into here and the speed that it's taking to do that. So this request just took 10 seconds. Request before took 6 seconds. First request on 4.0 took 5 seconds. So it is quite a bit quicker. So it really just depends on the use case and what you're trying to use the agent for. Also comes down to prompting. So obviously we can make it do this in a shorter text amount if we prompted it to do that and to make it very strict in doing that. Obviously this prompt has been sort of tailored to 4.0, so it's a little bit unfair, but with 4.1, it does seem to be going into quite a bit more detail. And maybe that's just how the model's tuned. It's tuned to be a little bit more in depth with its responses. And you can see there that has caused the completion time to be a little bit longer. Overall, I don't think the change from 4.0 to 4.1 is that big of a deal. It is slightly cheaper of a model, which is great, obviously given the amount of stuff that it's doing as well. But overall, nothing too crazy. I don't think the difference is too big of a thing to be looking at. But the next model that I do really want to highlight is 4.1 mini. And this is a model that on paper from OpenAI looks really, really good. So this is a model that should be very similar in intelligence to 4.0, but with significantly better latency. And so that is a really big thing if you're building chat or voice agents, to really bring that latency down to a mini model level of latency with the 4.0 level of intelligence and context is really, really good. So once again, I'll go ahead, swap my model over to 4.1 mini, and we'll give it a go, and we'll see how good of a response we can get and how quick that response is going to be as well. So maybe I'll just run the same request. Can you please compare these properties? And we'll see how quickly we can get this going. So we have it 3 seconds. So that is probably the quickest so far for this type of request. So we had 10 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Maybe this was a different 5 seconds as well. So 5 seconds was the previous quickest. 3 seconds looks like it's got pretty similar result to 4.0 as well in terms of the depth it went into. So there you go. 3 seconds is pretty quick. I could run it again. 3 seconds, for a voice agent is pretty great with this level of context. 2.6 is now even quicker. We could run it again, obviously run it as many times as you want, but that's significantly quicker already than the 4.0 and the 4.1 model. So I've just gone ahead and run a very simple question. I just said, hello, what do you help with? So a super basic question that could be coming through. Once again, I am trying to optimize this for chat and voice agents where it's not going to be a very complex or large inquiry that's coming through over the phone or over just a chat interface. And you're obviously going to be wanting to get a bit of a shorter and sharper response back in this case as well. And so I've just ran this same request alongside each of the 3 models. And so I've done 4.1 mini and it's outputted this. So hey there, I'm here to help you out with any questions about our properties. This has done this in 0.99 seconds. And one thing that you will notice about the sort of tonality of each of these is that the 4.1 mini model, specifically on this prompt, it's acting quite a bit different to how the other models are acting. So you'll see that it's really following along with the sort of informal approach to the conversation in the prompt that I added up here. So it is responding quite a bit differently. And so if you are going to be swapping over from 4.0 to 4.1 mini, that is something you're probably going to have to look out for if you have got a similar prompt or any type of prompt conditioning. If you are swapping the model, there is probably a lot of change that needs to be made. But otherwise, in terms of actual intelligence as to how it's answering the question or how it's, providing its question and answer, this is obviously perfect. I haven't questioned it about anything within the prompt specifically. So, obviously overall, these are all pretty fine, but 4.1 mini, 0.99 seconds, 1.78 seconds for 4.1 and 1.3 seconds for 4.0. So once again, 4.1 being quite a bit slower than 4.0. So overall, probably not going to be wanting using 4.1. If you want a quicker model than 4.0, 4 does seem to be just a bit quicker. But one thing to note is that 4.1 is actually cheaper than 4.0. I'm now going to jump into Retail AI. So this is an AI voice agent building platform. Essentially, I'm just going to take that prompt that we're just running those completion requests on and put that into an actual agent builder and start to just converse with it like an actual agent and see if we can have a look at some of the differences in speed and intelligence and cost through this platform in more of a real world scenario. So as you can see, I'm currently using the GPT-4.0 model. And if I just click down here, you'll see the wide range of 4.0 and 4.1 models that we have access to. And so if you just see here, we've got the 4.1, 4.1 mini and 4.1 nano. And so the big thing to note here, and one thing you can see is the cost. So currently on retail, a 4.0 model combined with an 11 Labs voice system, you can expect to get around 12 cents per minute. So this is obviously a voice agent builder. So you're going to get 12 cents per minute with 4.0 and with 11 Labs. But if we swap from 4.0 to 4.1, the price is going to decrease by about half a cent. So it's gone from 12 cents to 11.5 cents. So very minor change in cost. So it's not that much cheaper, to be honest. It's very, very similar in terms of its cost there. So that is one thing to note. And just from our previous testing, we saw that it probably is going to be a little bit slower of a model as well. So that's just one trade-off, but overall should be more intelligent as well. So depending on what you're building, these things matter as well. So in terms of building out a voice agent or a chat agent or any conversational system with, AI, if the response is coming back or the actual context for what you're doing isn't the most complicated thing in the world, you're probably not going to need the most advanced model ever because you're just introducing unnecessary latency. And then obviously, if we go over to the 4.1 mini model, we can get this cost all the way down to about 8.5 cents. So quite significantly cheaper. And that's a big thing when it comes to obviously doing voice agents and doing phone calls. Being able to get down to that level of cost is really, really great. And obviously that's the same thing for chat agents and whatnot. Bring those costs down by almost half is a pretty amazing thing. And then of course, there's also the 4.1 nano model, which goes down all the way to 7.5 cents. So quite a lot cheaper once again as well. Now the 4.1 nano model is meant to be a lot quicker than 4.1 mini, but also not as intelligent. So I'll give this a try as well on retail in the sort of real world chat scenario. But I think most part from what I've been testing, 4.1 mini is going to be the go-to model. So I'm going to go ahead and have a similar conversation with every single model. And I'm going to add the latency of responses for every single conversation that I have. And I'm going to pretty much just average it out and give you a bit of a graph that just shows the performance from this specific call on this specific agent of every single model, and you'll be able to see exactly where each model is sort of aligned in this type of setting.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Hey, I was looking to purchase a property in the California area. So we're just interested into what you had on offer. And we're also looking to sell our house as well. If you've got any information as to how we can best do that.
Oh, cool. So in California, we've got this stunning property in Malibu for $2.5 million. It's got 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a gourmet kitchen, private beach access, and insane ocean views. Plus, there's a home theater, outdoor kitchen, hot tub, and it's in a gated community. As for selling your house, we can totally help with that too. We'd guide you through pricing, marketing, and all.
But the price on that property is probably way too high. Is there anything cheaper in the same area?
I hear you, but unfortunately, that Malibu spot is the only one we've got in California right now. It's definitely on the pricier side. If you're open to other areas, though, I can tell you about some of our more affordable options.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could do that.
All right, so here's what we've got that's easier on the wallet. Asheville, North Carolina, $275,000. It's got 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a cozy wood-burning fireplace, and a big wooded lot with a wraparound porch.
Well, that could definitely work. Is there anything that we could do to put in an offer on that?
Oh, for sure. We can set up an appointment to chat more about the Asheville property and get the ball rolling on making an offer. What date and time works best for you?
I'm now going to swap to 4.1.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Hey, I was looking at your website and I was very interested in one of the properties that you had on there in the California area. We're looking to purchase a property in the area, and I'm also looking to sell our house as well, if that's something that you could help with.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, we've got a gorgeous place in Malibu, California. 4 beds, 4 baths, private beach access, and some killer ocean views. And for sure, we can totally help you sell your current house too. Want to set up a time to chat more or maybe tour the Malibu spot? What day and time works for you?
Yeah. I mean, we're just interested in what the price was. We weren't able to see if the price was on the website. So how much is that one?
Oh, totally get it. The Malibu property is listed at $2.5 million. If you want more details or want to check it out in person, just let me know what works for you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's probably a little bit out of our budget. Is there anything just a little bit cheaper?
Yeah, for sure. That Malibu spot is definitely on the higher end. If you're open to other areas, we've got places like a 2-bed, 1 bath in Asheville, North Carolina for $275,000, or a 3-bed, 2 bath in Maple Grove, Minnesota for $350,000. Let me know if you want to hear more about those or if you're looking for something specific.
Now I'm going to do 4.1 mini.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Hey, I was looking at your website and saw one of the California properties on there. We're definitely interested in that one. We're also interested in selling our house, if that's something you could help with.
Hey, yeah, that Malibu place is pretty amazing with its ocean views and private beach access. And for selling your house, totally, we can help with that. Too, our team is all about making the process smooth for you. Want me to tell you more about the Malibu property or help you get started with selling your place?
Yeah, I mean, we just want to look at the price. That's what we're looking at the moment. If it's below 1.5 million, that'd be great.
Gotcha. So the Malibu spot is actually 2.5 million, a bit above your 1.5 million mark. If you want, I can tell you about some other places that might be closer to that price.
Yeah, that'd be good if we could do something a little bit closer to the price.
Cool. So we have a Midtown Manhattan place for 1.3 million with a bedroom, bathroom, and some sweet city views. Or if you want something more chill, there's a spot in Maple Grove, Minnesota for $350,000 with 3 bedrooms and a big backyard.
Yeah, okay.
Which one's?
I'd probably say that the one in Manhattan is much more within our budget.
Nice choice. Midtown Manhattan is a great spot with a doorman, fitness center, and pet-friendly vibes. Would you want to set up a time to check it out? Just let me know what day and time works for you.
And now I'm going to jump into 4.1 Nano.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Hey, I was looking at your website and just saw that California property on there. Is that something that we'd be able to buy? And we're also looking to sell our house as well, if that's something that you could help with.
Hey, yeah, the Malibu property in California is available for purchase for $2.5 million. If you're interested in selling your house, we can definitely help with that too. Just let me know more about your property and what you're looking for.
Yeah, great. Okay. Can we look at, can we learn a little bit more about the property?
Sure thing. The Malibu property has 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a gourmet kitchen, private beach access, and panoramic ocean views. It also features a home theater, outdoor kitchen, hot tub, and is in a gated community. Want to set up a time to see it in person?
No, that's okay. We're just exploring at the moment. What's your terms for selling a house?
No worries. When it comes to selling, we offer a personalized approach with expert market analysis and property valuation to get you the best deal. We handle everything from listing to negotiations, making the process smooth
Okay,
and
that's
easy.
fine. I just wanted to know if you could sell. That's great. Thank you. So here's a graph comparing all of the conversations that I just had with those models and the average latency of the models. Now, let me know in the comments below which one you thought sounded the best and was the best experience talking with. I'd love to hear. If you found this video helpful, definitely check out my last video where I did a complete step-by-step walkthrough of Make.com's new AI agent modules.